What's up, everybody? This is going to be interesting. Buckle up, fasten your seatbelts. My name is Ryan Thomas. You're tuning into the Thomas Take Sports Podcast live on Spreaker, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. Coming to you live, brought to you by Beats. I got my Beats today, my Beats Solo 3s. Man, these are awesome for recording a podcast. These are fantastic. Really enjoying using these for the podcast. My voice comes out a lot clearer. There's no surround sound, noises. It's been awesome. So, got these today. Ordered these off Amazon for about $1.90, and I was pretty happy with that. That's a pretty decent price for Beats by Dr. Dre. The hype with these beats are real. It is for real. I mean, the music is so clear. And the radio shows that I listen to podcast-wise, whether it's Dan Patrick or, Chael Sonnen or Joe Rogan or all the shows that I listen to, it's been pretty fantastic. So, thank you, Dr. Dre, my man. Back again on the podcast to talk about a trade that popped into my head in a conversation with Dean / Mr. Thomas / Thomas Take Senior, Dean Thomas, my dad. And it was an idea that he kind of brought to my attention that originally I thought was a little crazy. But the more I think about it, it actually makes sense. And that is the idea of the Denver Broncos holding the 5th overall pick in this year's draft. What are they going to do with that pick? I think that's the toughest pick in a first-round mock to guess, because it's so painfully obvious what they want. They want a franchise guy. They want a Peyton Manning. They want to go back to the beginning and get a Peyton Manning that is leaving the Colts and try to get him again. That's what they want, because they think that they're that close to getting back to a Super Bowl. When the reality is they might not be as close, but they're close. If they had a better quarterback, they're definitely a playoff team. They hold the 5th overall pick in this year's draft. And we just saw one team in the Washington Redskins strike while their iron was hot. Knowing that Kirk Cousins wasn't going to come back, they went out and they made a trade for Alex Smith. And people can give their opinion on it. They can say that he was overpaid. They can say this, that, and the other. I'm going to bring light on that situation in the next part of the show tonight. But the reality is that there are teams that have great quarterbacks that, based on the fact that the draft process is the draft process, the better you finish, the lower pick you have, the worse you finish, the higher pick you have. There is a team out there that is picked in the 25 to 32 range for the last maybe 8 to 10 years. Maybe even more than that, if you really go back. And that is the Green Bay Packers. My thought process has turned to an idea that the Denver Broncos have the 5th overall pick in this year's draft. They have picks in this year's draft. They have whatever the price would be for the Green Bay Packers to trade Aaron Rodgers. And I know that sounds crazy. There's a lot of Packers fans that listen to the podcast. There's a lot of football fans that know how valuable Aaron Rodgers is to the Packers franchise. Discount, double check. I get it. But the Packers are not getting any better with Aaron Rodgers. They're actually about the same or worse. And each and every year, you could say they have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but do they have a great chance of winning a playoff game? Or 2 playoff games? Or 3, the amount you need to win the Super Bowl? More oftentimes than not, they are not in that position. Adding in the fact that Aaron Rodgers has had massive injuries the last few years. So if I'm John Elway, I know I want to win. John Elway wants to win every single year. Every year he wants to win. And a key stat that you really want to go back and look, and you want to look in the terms of, John Elway's career as a player and as an executive, In over 20-some seasons, I think it's 25 years, that he has been a member of the Broncos organization in one fashion or another. They have only had 3 losing seasons. 3. And one of those seasons was this past season. So John Elway will do whatever it takes to win. And I don't think John Elway truly believes that a rookie in this year's quarterback class will be what this team needs to go and win a Super Bowl. I truly believe that John Elway would trade that pick to someone that was willing to listen. And Green Bay has had terrible defenses. They have a terrible offensive line. And I'm going to go to the next part of this situation that is going to make people laugh. But the reality is, has Aaron Rodgers ever had a truly great running back? He had fat Eddie Lacy for a little while, pre-fat Eddie Lacy, post-fat, all 3 versions of Eddie Lacy. And then Ty Montgomery, a wide receiver, changed positions to running back and was slotted in that spot. Now, do I think that this trade idea is a reality at all? No. I don't think Green Bay would trade Aaron Rodgers for anything. And that is the mistake. Because how many years does he have left? He's the same age as Alex Smith. And people look at Alex Smith and say, well, Alex Smith is 34 years old. The bright side of both Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers is that whether it was the beginning of their career or the middle of their careers, they were sitting. They were not playing each and every season. In Rodgers' case, it was the beginning. Alex Smith's case, it was the middle, obviously, with the benching for CP7 or CK7. So I think that there is a real situation here that if I'm Denver, I look at my team, I still got Demaryius Thomas, I still have Emmanuel Sanders, he might be moved, but if we really want to strike while the iron's hot and make our team a perennial Super Bowl contender, that's the move that you got to make. You got to think outside the box and say to yourself, is this a possibility? Could we make this happen? Brett Favre was traded to the New York Jets. Joe Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. If Tom Brady if Tom Brady would have hit his wall already, he would have been traded as well. So the reality is that at any point, a move like this can be made. Despite what one player does for a franchise, this move can be made. And if Green Bay wants a quarterback out of the deal, maybe Green Bay asks for one of those 3 guys, whether it's Osweiler, Simeon, or Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch would probably be, one of the guys that would be coveted just based on his age, but he obviously hasn't panned out for Denver. Simeon hasn't panned out. Osweiler, they've kicked the tires on him once and twice. And Chad Kelly is hurt. So Chad Kelly's had the issues off the field, issues on the field in terms of his injuries. And I don't know if that's the direction that Denver's looking to go in. They wouldn't scoff at Aaron Rodgers, the possibility of Aaron Rodgers for Chad Kelly. So it's a wild and wacky scenario. And I know I'm going to get some dorks on here that'll say, well, he thought that this would be a great idea. It actually is a good idea because Green Bay is not getting any better with Aaron Rodgers. They've actually gone further and further and further away from winning a Super Bowl, while Aaron Rodgers has played far beyond his potential based on the supporting cast that he has. And a talent like Aaron Rodgers is actually being wasted in Green Bay based on the fact that they haven't really built much around him in the running game. Their offensive line has been in shambles, and to top it all off, their defense has been one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. Case in point, Green Bay almost lost to the Browns. That almost happened. Okay? So we really need to get a grip on reality that maybe one player doesn't make a team. in the case of Green Bay, / maybe one player does make a team in the case of Denver, because when you look at what Denver has everything that the Packers don't have, and Green Bay has everything that Denver doesn't have. So in order to balance the scale a little bit, or to have a level teeter-totter to where it's just a straight board, even the weight on both sides, there's a real opportunity here for Denver to make a move and say, hey, we'll trade you our 5th overall selection, Trevor Siemian / Paxton Lynch, and our first round pick next year for Aaron Rodgers. You mean to tell me that Green Bay wouldn't listen to that? I think that they would, based on the fact that they'd have 2 first-round picks the next 2 years. They'd be able to take a quarterback with one of those picks if they wanted, and they would be able to actually add to the positions of need that they've needed to add real contributing players for the last 10 to 12 years, that they've neglected those areas of their roster based upon the fact that they have Aaron Rodgers. And that is why Green Bay is in the situation that they are in now. They're picking 25th to 32nd because they have a quarterback that ignites the fire of their offense. But outside of him, they don't have a whole lot. And that's something that I realistically think begs to question, why hasn't it even been considered? I think it should be considered. I really do. And I think that that's a trade that might obviously not happen for the reasons that I stated. Aaron Rodgers pretty much is Green Bay, but at one point Brett Favre was too. So we need to think of this in terms of a business decision, a business move. What is a great business move? Denver doesn't want to dip their toes in the rookie waters. Not many teams want to dip their toes in the rookie waters. And the reason for that is because rookies don't lead to winning right out of the gate. Usually, more oftentimes than not, you take a step back with a rookie than a step forward, rather than a step forward. Which is why the Redskins have gone out, traded for Alex Smith, which is why Kirk Cousins should go to Cleveland, which is why Aaron Rodgers should be traded from Green Bay to Denver. What do you guys think? Call me an idiot, whatever. I think that it actually makes sense. And I think that this is a situation that could definitely come to fruition within the next couple years, if not this year. Aaron Rodgers isn't getting any younger. He's had concussions. He's had knee injuries. He's had collarbone injuries. And it's only going to get worse for him, not better, based on what they have built around him or the lack thereof. You look at the other side of the coin in New England with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 40 years old, but they have provided him with safety valves all around that offense, whether that's the obvious Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, or James White / Deion Lewis, Rex Burkhead. He's got safety valves. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a safety valve. He's got guys that he can get the ball to. That's it. There's a difference. There is a huge difference. Whereas Aaron Rodgers in Denver would have safety valves. He would have C.J. Anderson. He would have Devontae Booker. He would have Demaryius Thomas. He would have Emmanuel Sanders, a true safety valve, if there ever has been in the last 10 years. Just a thought. Weigh in. Give me your take. I'm Ryan Thomas. Take care, everybody.